When Brad and I first heard about Lifeline Chaplaincy and Compassionate Touch, we knew this was work worth doing, and we got involved.
God has called all of us to visit the sick. It's not always convenient, and our schedules are full. But Lifeline has made a way for us to be responsive to His Word, to become angels of hope for those in need of compassion and companionship.
Through your time as a volunteer or your financial support of Lifeline and Compassionate Touch, you're in agreement with God's Word. When Lifeline becomes part of your daily life or part of your regular giving, you honor Him in a pleasing way.
As we launch the Angels of Hope campaign, it's the perfect time to become actively involved with Lifeline. The ministry is expanding to more and more hospitals, reaching more people, but the need continues to grow. Our chaplains are overburdened, our staff is spread thin, simple travel costs are escalating, and we need the ability to train more volunteers and hire more staff to keep up with that growth.
One woman, Marie Bannister, was just an ordinary servant honoring God's Word. She spent years quietly visiting cancer patients at the MD Anderson Cancer Center.
Lifeline's director, Virgil Fry, met Marie Bannister in the 1980s, and from that association grew the vision that would become Lifeline Chaplaincy. Lifeline is now in major cities across Texas, expanding from Houston to Dallas, Austin to Temple, San Marcos to Georgetown, Round Rock, San Antonio, and Tarrant County.
Lifeline has three major components: spiritual care and comfort in times of crisis through volunteer and staff visitation, benevolence giving to those in need through a program called Compassionate Touch, and a nationally recognized training program for volunteers and college interns who feel called to visit the sick as part of their professional or personal ministry.
When a person becomes critically ill, everything changes. No more work, no more income. Family members may live too far to travel. And without a support system, health can be compromised. Words of comfort, a hand to hold, an ear to listen. This is what God meant by His instruction, because to a patient, the visiting Lifeline chaplain can make a real difference.
I think Lifeline provides a big value in the lives of people, not just the patients, but the families.
If you're sick, you get stuck where you are, and to have somebody to come in to see you, if you haven't had a visitor, that is a lot of enjoyment for them.
We may not solve their medical problem, but I think we help them mentally and spiritually.
When a spouse or child becomes critically ill, families restructure their lives. They leave jobs behind, adding stress to difficult circumstances. They are financially unprepared, even for the smallest things.
I always try and be optimistic. I always try to keep faith, but sometimes when you're in that, when you're really down in that, at your lowest debt, it's hard. And for me personally, it's really hard for me to ask, and for them to come through my wife Valerie and step in and help supplement some of the cost of it. It just meant the world. It just meant the world to me.
Parking charges of $10 a day, no home-cooked meals, endless hotel rooms. Some end up sleeping in their cars or in the hospital room, night after night, eating from vending machines or from what remains on the hospital tray. Compassionate Touch provides parking money, a good meal, or a few nights in a warm bed.
Visitation requires education, so Lifeline began a training program that teaches us how to visit, to be great listeners and hand-holders, and how to respond to the joy and sorrow that accompanies critical illness. This program trains those who have the heart to fulfill God's request to visit the sick. Lifeline's summer internship program trains young students from colleges and universities, psychology majors, ministry majors, students who want to become better listeners.
Each one of them has been changed. They carry these experiences with them, and those experiences serve them very well in their lives.
But I had no idea the class of this was going to really prep me to go out and work with patients as well as it did, to really open me up to others, to where whenever I opened up the patient visits, I was used to it already because I did so much of that in the morning time. I was an open book without even knowing that. And I think the class time really helped me do that.
There is no doubt that God honors and blesses those who obey His word. The growth of Lifeline Chaplaincy from one woman's faithfulness to these major cities throughout Texas can be no finer example of His love for this ministry.
The Angels of Hope campaign is an endowment program for Lifeline Chaplaincy to continue growth throughout this century and beyond. And there are so many different ways you can help make this possible. Through gifts of cash, online giving, annual giving, matching gifts, honorary and memorial gifts, real and personal property, and the Marie Bannister Legacy Society. We encourage you to become an angel of hope, compassion, comfort, mercy, grace, or encouragement to make possible the unencumbered continuance of this work. There is no greater destination for your giving.
You can learn more about Lifeline Chaplaincy's Angel of Hope campaign. Find out more through your area Lifeline representative or at lifelinechaplaincy.org.